In the past 5 or 6 years or so, vinyl records have seen a resurgence of sorts. They've started to outsell CDs, and that's kind of a surprise. But why the fuck are vinyl records becoming so popular again? So where exactly do vinyl records start? Well, vinyl records didn't actually start for a little while after the record player or phonograph had been invented. First off, they were wax cylinders, like this. These are Edison wax cylinders. And then after the wax cylinders, they invented the disc, the 78 RPM disc. And these records are very, very fragile. They're made out of shellac, and these records will just break very easily if you're not careful. Shellac is a mixture of bugs and some other stuff, but it's not plastic. So you'll very rarely see these records made nowadays. Instead of these records, you now have the good old 45 RPM singles and the 33 RPM disc, which is what records are known as today. So 45s and 33 and a third RPMs are actual vinyl. They're vinyl plastic. They're made from a master disc. They smush them between two machines, two discs, and just smashes them like plastic. Makes them, boom, easy, simple. You can mass produce them. That's why you have so many of them popping up now. But if you have such widely available services such as Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Apple Music, well, why are we seeing a resurgence in vinyl records when there's much widely available and often cheaper ways to listen to music? So a lot of people may make the argument for why people buy vinyl records more often is, oh, they have better sound quality in that, but it simply isn't true. Vinyl records do not compare to CDs or high audio quality FLACs and stuff that you can buy digitally.
Digital recording, like the Spyrogyra in this case, that's a digitally done recording. They took that digital recording and then they transferred it to vinyl. How can it sound any better if it's originally be done in digital? How's it going to sound better in analog? It can't. It sounded great, but man, the CD was showing you that when you have a low noise floor recording with little compression, the CD had more dynamic range.
It just isn't true. But analog audio compared to digital, at least to me, there is a different sensation to hearing analog audio compared to digital audio. In digital audio, it may just seem, depending on what you're listening to, if you're just using a service like Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, it can often seem compressed and can sound like crap. But if you have a good turntable and a nice, good, not scratched up record or anything, they can sound good. That also depends on your speakers and your receiver and preamp and whatever all you've got to make those records sound good. But really what it comes down to is it's a preference thing. It's not that records have a higher audio quality compared to CDs. It's just not true. To me, the big appeal to collecting record albums or 45 singles is not the sound quality, but it's having the physical nature. It's like a hassle to change songs on a vinyl record. If you want to listen to something else, you got to do this whole process, which will take you a minute or two to switch out and do all this, compared to with digital music. You just press the next button and there you go. Well, I love digital music, but there's the physical nature of vinyl records. It's charming to me. I mean, let's pull this random one out here. What is this? The greatest hits of Gary U.S. Bonds. I don't know. But at least maybe not this one, but you got the picture of the guy. You got this big list of music. Some of the older ones when records were very first popular, you don't have a lot of very good, clean artwork. But with this one, you got this interesting thing here. And a lot of the ones that open up gatefolds, you got pictures on the inside. You got a picture of the band on the back. And they just look cool. And it's just cool to see this artwork. This is an older one. It's just a wheel. There is a certain smell to like old vinyl records, and it's mostly water damage and dust and paper breaking down. But you don't get that smell with digital music. You don't get anything besides the sound. It may be the visual of the album cover, but that's it. Like, you can get, with records, you can smell them, you can hear them, you can look at them, you can read them. I guess if you wanted to, you could taste them, but that's probably not a good idea. So let's pull another one out. This one's still in some plastic. It's just a picture of the Fonz from Happy Days. Like, you just don't get this. You don't think... I'm not gonna find this on Spotify or Apple Music. It's impossible. But there's the weird records like this, Fonzie's Favorites, or the one with the wheel on it, that you're just not gonna... You can only find them on records. Another part to collecting records, which makes it fun for me, is actually physically going to a record store and just browsing through and looking at them. I've gotten some of my favorite albums just because I happen to be at the right place at the right time, and I look and I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. I'll pick it up, look at it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this, whatever. If I don't like it, whatever. You can buy vinyl records off Amazon, any online service really now, or you can use Discogs. But it takes the fun out of going to your record store if you got one in your town, going through and just spending an hour just looking through all this stuff, and you can just soak up history and knowledge of all this stuff, all these records, and see something that maybe you've never liked before, or try something new. If it's $1, it's whatever you can find. Probably the best thing I found in the dollar bin was an AC/DC album. I found Let There Be Rock in the dollar bin. It's a Mexican print, and it's slightly warped, but who cares? It was $1. That's better than going out and paying $20, $30, however much it is, probably $20 for the brand new one. I'm gonna take what I can get. No, I'm not gonna collect albums just because they're expensive. I'm gonna collect them because I want to listen to them, and that's what I like listening to. I have a few here and there that are just random crap that I picked up and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, this will be funny or interesting, that I don't listen to. But it only cost me $1, and they're not rare records that I'm just going to be leaving sitting around. I just put them away and don't listen to them. So what do you want to do if you want to start collecting records and listening to records? Well, the first thing you got to do is throw out that shitty Crosley Cruiser you got and get a real turntable, like this one right here. It's a real turntable. I think that one's from the 70s or 80s or something, but that's a direct drive turntable. It works really well. Doesn't sound the best because the needle and cartridge on it are crap, but whatever. You can go and buy the cheap Audio-Technica record player, and that's better than whatever you can find at Urban Outfitters. That's probably the best starting point. But another good starting point too, if you don't have a lot of money, is Goodwill or any other thrift shop. That's where I've gotten personally all my vinyl record stuff is from Goodwill. I hate to admit it, but it's true. And how it might not be the greatest, but I know the turntable's not greatest. It's a Pioneer something or other crap thing. But the receiver I got and the speakers I got are good speakers. The subwoofer I have is from Goodwill. Everything is from Goodwill. And that's okay. If you don't have a lot of money to spend on that stuff, don't spend that much money on it. That's as simple as that. But if you really want to be serious about it, be ready to pay more than like $500 to get set up, because it's expensive. It's an expensive hobby. As long as you don't go to Urban Outfitters, pick up your Crosley Cruiser or Crosley whatever crap machine they make for you. Most of the time, if you buy a cheap record player, they're gonna damage your records, scratch them to hell, and you're gonna hate it. And records are a fun hobby, but you gotta have a decent record player and that type of stuff. But like also with buying records, if you're starting out a collection, don't be afraid to go out and buy random crap. Like, let's draw from the random goodie box here. Oh look, it's the soundtrack from Every Which Way But Loose. That was $3. Who cares? It's your collection. Do what you want. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, these are the essential albums you need. You need to have Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. You need to have The Wall by Pink Floyd. You need to have Led Zeppelin, blah, blah, blah. All this. No. If you don't like them, don't buy them. Simple as that. And I know that might seem a little obvious, but there's some people that'll just buy them and be like, oh, okay, so these I know are good records. And then they play them on a shitty Crosley, and they're like, oh, this sucks. Why'd I spend $50 on this when I can just go and buy the album on iTunes or just listen to it on Spotify? Why would I pay $50 for this? Okay, I'm going to try and do this as quick as I can. My camera is about to die. But if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. Follow my Instagram if you haven't already. And remember, don't let anyone tell you how to collect your records. Collect them your way. Do what you want. It cut out. Oh well, I finished. I actually did an ending for once. Alright. I'll see you guys later.
A Factory Mouse Production.